drought, it really hits them bad. Madam Speaker, what we have just done in putting in this main is what you call a nation building exercise. If you our independence, some of them are 60 years old or more. We were laying these mains when we were building Jamaica as an independent nation. They have reached their useful life, and we have to go through that exercise again. Some of these mains have corroded to the point where no water can go through them. Some of them have corroded to the point that if water goes through them, they'll collapse. So we have to replace them, and we have started that project. And I made sure to read this out because the people in the communities that I've called and others that I haven't called, they have been suffering. They have been suffering, and this is a start to ensuring that we can give them decent supply of water. Madam Speaker, the total assets of the National Housing Trust are projected to increase to $313 billion by March 2022, of which 91% or $285 billion will be in housing. That is comprised of mortgages and works in progress. The growth in assets has been significant when compared to March 2016, when total assets were $237 billion, with 84% or $200 billion representing investments in housing. Madam Speaker, the NHT's annual housing expenditure has grown from an average of $20 billion in 2014-2016 to a projected $58 billion in 2021-2022. We are moving in the right direction. Madam Speaker, the government, recognizing the critical contribution of housing to economic and social development, has put down the challenge to the housing sector to substantially increase housing starts. I have held several meetings with the private sector and public sector stakeholders as well, including the NHT, to explain the government's housing thrust. I should remind the House, Madam Speaker, that the government had also issued a further challenge that the majority of the houses that we want to be built should be in the price region of $8 million or less. Both the opposition spokesperson on finance and the leader of the opposition raised the issue of equity in the NHT. Madam Speaker, we recognized this issue a long time ago, and which is why the Minister of Finance and myself agreed when he was the chairman of the NHT that we would conduct a review of the NHT to come up with ways to address the issue of how the NHT has turned out to be inequitable. It's hard to say that because, I mean, the consciousness, the understanding of the NHT is that it is a good thing. It is getting houses for everyone. But if you look at who is getting the house and how the benefit is distributed and who can access the benefit, there are issues there that we need to address. It is not being fair to the poorest, and I don't think that needs to be debated. It is the reality, and I believe the Parliament should find a way to address these issues. The report is there. I don't believe things have changed too much that would make the report invalid. I think the report is still valid, and we should go and debate that report. And I'm happy to hear the opposition thinking in that way, because that was part of our reservation as to how we go about making changes to the NHT, such a massive and politically sensitive organization. If there is a meeting of the minds, I think we can make real change to the NHT that would see an expansion of access. Within the next 2 months, Madam Speaker, the NHD will be advertising for local and foreign developers who are interested in participating in housing projects in the $8 million segment of the market. I have directed the NHD to focus its resources in that area. We need to build houses that people who are building houses in riverbanks and gully courses and perch precariously on hillsides, that they can say, all right, instead of me go and build here, let me go and invest in a structured, organized community. And that is the direction that has been given to the NHD. There are challenges, there are supply side challenges, as you well know. I believe we do have experienced developers here. As you had pointed out, we built Portmore, we built Mona, so we do have the experience. We haven't used it in a while, but I think with this new thrust, we're going to see new players and old players emerge coming into the market to increase the housing supply. Madam Speaker, we are cognizant of the position some mortgagors have found themselves in over the last several months as a result of the pandemic. To help these mortgagors, the National Housing Trust implemented the Fresh Start Rescheduling Facility in May 2020. The facility provided financial relief for mortgagors with arrears of 90 days or more, as at February 29, 2020, by allowing them a one-off special arrangement that saw the amount owing being recalculated. Those who have benefited from the facility saw their arrears added to the principal and their loan amount readjusted. Some mortgagors were also eligible to receive a reduction in interest rates based on their income, as well as an extension in the tenure of the mortgage. So this is a creative scheme to technically refinance the loan and remove the outstanding portion, which would show you being delinquent. And it's very creative, and it has worked. The allowance improved their ability to service their loans. To date, a total of 1,966 applications have been processed under the Fresh Start program, which expired on September 30th, 2020. Madam Speaker, mortgagors who are in need of further assistance can continue to benefit from other established relief programs maintained by the NHD. To date, the following applications have been processed under the special loan moratorium. That's 2,057 applications, regular loan modifications, 2,308, and regular moratorium, 202. Madam Speaker, since 2016, some public sector mortgagors have been receiving their contribution refunds in cash annually. This cash refund is unlike what obtains for regular mortgagors whose contribution refund is paid directly to the NHD mortgage account. When this provision was initially established, it was based on the economic situation which resulted in a wage freeze under the Memorandum of Understanding between the public sector workers and government. In my 2018-2019 budget presentation, I spoke to extending the cash refund granted by the NHD to eligible public sector workers and indicated that the period of extension would end this year, 2021. Madam Speaker, with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, such an extension is once again needed. Consequently, the NHD will extend the cash refund granted to public sector workers up to April 2022. Madam Speaker, as part of the COVID-19 efforts, the NHD will allow persons who have been unemployed for a period of 12 months or more to access their contribution refunds 1 year in advance. when you add all of this to the care package, these things that other agencies of government are doing. I mean, this government really cares. So the contributors refund, which would be due, say, for example, for the year 2013, that contributor, if they have lost their job, could access their refund for 2013, but they could also access their refund for 2014. The proposed implementation date for this initiative is July 2021. The initiative will expire in July 2022. So this is a way to get some cash into your hands if you're having difficulty, if you lost your job and you need some cash. So these are all very creative ways that the government has come up with to help people to survive the pandemic. In November 2017, the report of the Strategic Review Commission was presented to me and subsequently tabled in Parliament. Arising from recommendations in the report, the Trust has examined and implemented some of the suggestions. In terms of portfolio management, the Trust has taken steps to monetize its mortgage portfolio to ensure that the level of housing expenditure is well maintained. The NHD holds the largest mortgage portfolio in Jamaica. The Trust has been strategically leveraging that position through the sale of portions of this mortgage portfolio, which has allowed capital to be used in more effective ways. In terms of construction management, greater emphasis will be placed on housing delivery through initiatives such as the Developers Program and the Guaranteed Purchase Program. This is what I had spoken about earlier, where the NHT will be inviting interested parties to participate. Under this program, the NHT guarantees the purchase of the units, but sets the price, and the price is $8 million or lower. So if you are a developer, you have a project, you meet the requirements, the NHT is guaranteeing that if you bring those houses onto the market at the price point, the NHT will purchase them. That essentially takes away the risk from you. In terms of contribution management, there will be the implementation of strategies which will encourage improved collections and promote stronger partnership among government entities which fall within the ambit of the payroll amalgamation services. Madam Speaker, the NHD will contribute their target to the 70,000 housing solutions. They are tasked with contributing 43,000 housing solutions to that 70,000 housing. And they are well on the way to doing that. Madam Speaker, the leader of the opposition made some comments regarding Jamaica's standing in diplomatic relations and foreign affairs. And I reflected, I went home and I looked back at it and I said, I am not one to blow a trumpet. I don't do that. I don't go around. I don't go around,
We ring a bell. That's their metaphor.
I don't go around doing self-promotion. But Madam Speaker, I think the record has to be set clear about Jamaica's standing on the global stage since the Jamaica Labour Party government has taken office. Madam Speaker, in 2018, Jamaica was the only small island country invited to the G7 summit. Not just invited, participated. We were there. We represented. Jamaica represented the positions, issues, and concerns on the global stage. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, again, we were invited to Argentina for the G20 summit. The Minister of Finance was there. And it was an amazing experience to see a world leader saying so big up Jamaica. But, Madam Speaker, we participated, we brought the concerns of small economies, small countries, we represented there.
That's correct.
Madam Speaker, we were invited to the BRICS.
Yes.
Again, to do that. Madam Speaker, you know, I was invited to be the...
Oh, come on. Just listen.
Madam Speaker, we were Jamaica. I was invited to co-chair with President Macron of France, the UN's special initiative on increasing climate financing action. Madam Speaker, again, co-chair with Prime Minister Trudeau. Friends of the SDGs, leveraging creative solutions for financing and sustainable development. International fora, international work. Madam Speaker, I wouldn't even bother go to all of those other things. Madam Speaker, I think I sat down and I looked and I'm saying to myself, which other recent prime minister? And I said, I want the leader of the opposition to just tell me. Madam Speaker, some of the conversation that is carried reflects a lack of, I would say it's more a lack of research. Madam Speaker, you know, I tell you something. You know, about Jamaica, how we have carried Jamaica's regard in the world. I was one of 5 prime ministers invited by Prime Minister Modi to speak at their special event at the UN, marking the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. And New Zealand. So, Madam Speaker, when Jamaica is one of the countries selected for a vaccine gift, and we don't go out and make all kinds of noise and public relations about it, Jamaica has quietly, steadily, consistently represented on the international stage, and our voice is respected. It is respected because we bring a practical approach to the problems of development, and the way in which we have conducted our economic and social policies here are regarded as examples to the rest of the world. Madam Speaker, there is not only one point of view for respect.
That's right.
Madam Speaker, they get respect by pursuing what I call the old way. they are still on the old path, holding on to old ideas. Recognizing that the world has changed and moved beyond that. Jamaica's foreign policy has been and continues to be principle-based. Principle-based. Right? Madam Speaker, we have pursued a foreign policy that will promote our development. We are not going to get tied up in ideology, and we are practical. So, Madam Speaker, brand Jamaica is safe in our hands. Oh, you want me to say? All right. Madam Speaker, after all the finance minister has said, and I have said, we can arrive at a certain conclusion. We can conclude that good policy pays dividends. Just the afternoon, the international credit rating agency Fitch affirmed Jamaica's credit rating at B+. With all that's going on, with the outlook remaining stable. No doubt, they have been paying attention to the budget debates.
Yes, absolutely. We're going what you want.
Obviously, they have been listening to what we are saying and hearing our confirmation and affirmation of good fiscal policy. Yeah. And so, Madam Speaker, again, we are reaping the dividends. We can conclude that this government is a government of incredible dexterity and facility to manage several crises. Pandemic, economic, environmental, weather events, and we have managed them all very well.
Seamlessly.
All of them. We have been managing these crises, balancing competing interests, maintaining equity and transparency, exercising patience and restraint, and still show material solidarity and care for the people of Jamaica. We can conclude, in the midst of crisis, this government has not faltered, and we are turning crisis into opportunity. We are using the challenges thrust upon us by the pandemic as an opportunity to reconfigure and reorganize our society into a smarter, greener, safer, and more caring society. We do not take this for granted. We will never forget the poor, the vulnerable, and the weak in our society. Our task is to empower the people of this country with equal opportunity, world-class infrastructure, access to technology, access to finance, and the opportunity to fulfill their deepest aspirations. Madam Speaker, we do not do this of our own volition. We consider this to be God's work, and we are instruments of his execution. With our faith and trust in God, in the words of Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jamaica will recover stronger, faster, better, greener, fairer, more orderly, more sustainable. Jamaica will recover. God bless you. God bless.